breaking news in the NBA. James Harden agreeing to a 2-year, $68.6 million deal to return to the 76ers. The deal includes a player option. Harden went to Philadelphia in a midseason trade, sending Ben Simmons to the Brooklyn Nets. With Harden at the point, Philly was eliminated by Miami in 6 games of the second round of the playoffs. All right, taking a look at James Harden last season, averaging about 22 points a game, 33% from 3, worst since 2011 for his points per game and worst ever behind the arc. Right now, we welcome in our NBA coach and champion, Avery Johnson, for his analysis. Joining us here on the phone, Coach, James Harden still making about over $30 million a year, but still taking a bit of a pay cut. What do you make of those numbers?
That's right in line with the plan that James Harden and the Philadelphia 76ers had planned all along, because they needed to create some space to sign P.J. Tucker, Daniel House, who both played with James Harden with the Houston Rockets. They were able to make the trade also for DeAnthony Milton. So, again, this is right in line. This is textbook. This deal probably was agreed upon verbally probably a week or two ago, and it was just a matter of time before they were going to get it finalized. But this gave Philadelphia cap space to go out and sign the defensive stopper and P.J. Tucker while retaining James Harden and giving him an opportunity to work out with Joel Embiid in the offseason so that those guys can come back 100% with a better team and a more experienced team, and a guy in P.J. Tucker that won a championship with the Milwaukee Bucks to get him in the fold. This was a solid negotiations between the Philadelphia 76ers and James Harden.
And again, it is for 2 years with a player option. Coach, what do you think of that? What the 2 year with that option, what does that tell you?
Well, that just tells me that basically, it gave both the player and the team flexibility moving forward by the time you get to that option year. And, you'll figure out at that time, does he pick up his option and or opt out and give the Philadelphia 76ers even more flexibility. So this is about flexibility moving forward. This is a partnership between James Harden and the organization. This is what it's all about. They both have what we called in business or sports shared values. They want to arrive at the same goal, which is a championship. And the best way to get there is for James Harden to have taken somewhat of a pay cut to create room to bring in even more supporting cast. And it's not only supporting cast, but supporting cast who he's very familiar with.
You mentioned it, too. They're picking up the defensive end, being able to keep Tucker and House. And as you said it there, Coach, they're trying to play for a championship. How does this pick up where they left off losing in that Game 6?
Well, again, when you look at it specifically P.J. Tucker, everywhere he's gone over the last 2 years, he's won a championship with Milwaukee. Then he goes to the Eastern Conference Finals with Miami. And, Eastern Conference Finals, Game 7 against Boston. Now he's bringing that same energy to Philadelphia to help James Harden, who's not the best on the defensive end. So he's bringing that winning mentality, that deep playoff experience mentality, and he's reuniting with a guy in James Harden who he's played with when James Harden was at the pinnacle of his career. So I think the motivating part is trying to motivate and provide that leadership to help James Harden maybe not get back to where he was scoring 40 points and 16 assists, but get to that elite status. And that's why they really needed P.J. Tucker, not just for on-the-court defense, knocking out corner threes, but for his leadership.
We're seeing here now notable contract situations there for the 76ers. Avery, as you look at what this team is trying to achieve, is there any missing pieces that they need to continue to add on, or is this piece locking up James Harden, you think, going to be able to get them over that hump as they look ahead?
Well, I think, another veteran wing player, coming off the bench, could be a benefit to him. You can't have enough wing players because you got to remember, in the Eastern Conference, you still have to deal with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum and Marcus Smart. Obviously, Boston traded for Malcolm Brogdon. You got to deal with those guys. Those are series wing players. With Miami, you got to deal with Jimmy Butler. So with all of these different teams, Milwaukee, Middleton, Drew Holiday, obviously Giannis is a handful, but you got to have depth at the wing position, especially to get you through the regular season. And just in case there are some injuries in the playoffs or if somebody's not playing well, you got to be able to go to the next man up. So that depth at the wing position, we saw it with the Golden State Warriors, Klay Thompson, Wiggins, very deep Jordan Poole. You got to have quality wing players. So if they can add one more quality wing player to go along with DeAnthony Milton, who's coming off the bench, I think that'll be very beneficial for them.
All right, that's Avery Johnson there with us. We appreciate your insight as James Harden agreeing to a 2-year, $68.6 million deal to return to the 76ers. And taking a look here, 76ers net rating by Embiid and Harden together, both on the floor, plus 15.9 average there, minutes 603. But look at it, when it's just Embiid or just Harden, significant difference.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.